so excited to be back in my kitchen today. I'll be filming and sharing a week of nourishing breakfast slash brunch ideas. Today is Monday, so I'm about to whip up breakfast. Sometimes it's grab and go. Today I'm just in the mood for something extra yummy, so you'll see. Hopefully it will just encourage you to step into your kitchen, even if it's, like I always say, just to create one thing this week. It makes a world of difference. For more of my recipes, more ideas, more inspiration, you can head over to my website at www.tishwonders.co.uk. Go and check out all of my recipe ebooks over there. So let's put Monday's breakfast slash brunch together. Let's cook it, let's do it, let's go. I'm really in the mood for Turkish eggs, but I don't want to poach my eggs, so I'm going to do it all in one pan, and I'm going to add some, I've got some jarred roasted red peppers. I'm going to add some of that in. But I just, you know, when you're just craving something, like I want eggs, I want yogurt, I want the spiced butter, yum. I'm gonna start off by doing the yogurt first because the eggs will cook in minutes. So it's good to have the yogurt ready before. So I've got some Greek yogurt, I've got some dill, lemon, garlic. So grab a bowl and place in the Greek yogurt. And squeeze in some lemon juice. I like to throw a touch of garlic. Some people like to throw cloves of garlic in. I'm like, no. Let me just add a little bit of garlic. Ideally, it will be finely grated. Just make sure it is not chunky. Completely optional. You can chop up and you can throw in some fresh dill. Place a little bit of salt in. You could use parsley if you prefer that. Whatever herbs you like, go with whatever you like the taste of, whatever you have as well. Just like I mentioned with the yogurt, we're actually going to prepare the butter in advance as well. So once the eggs are cooked, we can just throw this together. So grab a pan, heat it on a medium heat, place your knob of butter in. So let everything melt down and place in your Aleppo pepper plus your chili flakes. So give your pan a really good shake, making sure that the butter is fully infused, and just place your pan to the side. So there's not much to do with these roasted red peppers. We're just going to open up our jar, drain a few peppers off, and simply chop them up. If you don't want to do this step and you actually just prefer like a classic Turkish egg dish, then you can just poach your eggs. But like I mentioned, I don't want poached eggs today. I want eggs cooked, as you're about to see. On a low to medium heat, place a little olive oil into a pan and place in those jarred chopped red peppers. Cook for a minute or so and then crack in your eggs. Season with some salt and some pepper and then cover your pan. Reduce the heat and cook your eggs for about 5 to 7 minutes. Just keep an eye on it. I definitely for this recipe want a runny yolk. I grabbed my little bowl and I placed in that garlicky dill infused yogurt, topping it with those gorgeous eggs, not leaving even a speck of that butter. Those eggs, oh my god, that's how I like an egg. Oh my god, it makes me so happy. Wow. I need another piece of toast. That's how you start Monday. It's gonna be a good week. So it's really early. I'm definitely that person that like wakes up with an appetite. Like I love, obviously, clearly love breakfast. If I don't train before 7:30, I have to eat something before I train, and I haven't trained yet, so I'm gonna head to the gym. But before that, I'm going to make a little porridge. Very simple. Sometimes when I'm lying in bed, I think, what am I gonna have for breakfast? Like those thoughts come into my head. So last night I was like, let me put some oats to soak, and I also added in some of this muesli, which is just a standard basic muesli. I sometimes like adding some muesli in just because of the dried fruit that's added, and there's like sunflower seeds in here, Brazil nuts. I just put everything to soak in a saucepan. Doesn't look great now, but I'm actually gonna just drain the water off and then just add some almond milk, and it's gonna cook really quick. Everything's kind of softened anyways, and I'm gonna add my toppings on top. Very simple breakfast this morning. I really go through phases of loving oats, and I'm definitely in an oat phase right now. I'm gonna add some Greek yogurt on top. I've got some berries, and I've also got some seeds. So every now and then, I know I've spoken about it before, I'll really get into seed cycling, and this month I've just been on it. So I've got a blend of pumpkin seeds and what else? Flax seeds that I whizzed up in my blender earlier on this week. I don't feel like I've ever properly committed myself to seed cycling over like a long period of time, but I always have intentions to, so maybe it's going to be a thing from now on. The first half of my cycle, I will sprinkle on top pumpkin and flax seeds, and then for the second half of my cycle, which is like the beginning of the luteal phase, up until my period actually comes, I will do sesame seeds and sunflower seeds. Apparently there's a science behind it. I don't know, maybe you guys have had some experience with seed cycling, but what I do know is that there is absolutely no harm in adding extra pumpkin seeds, flax seeds, sunflower seeds and sesame seeds to whatever I'm eating throughout the month. So let me put this porridge together because I've got a class that I need to get to. Some almond milk. Obviously you can spice the porridge up however you want. You can add nutmeg, you can add cinnamon. This cinnamon, by the way, this Vietnamese cinnamon is so strong, it's really potent. I'm not complaining, it's delicious, but my goodness, you only need a little touch of this stuff. Definitely got into the habit of adding in a protein powder when I'm eating oats, and actually, you know what? I can feel the difference. I'm not well versed when it comes to protein powders. I'm not the most schooled on that topic, but when I do use a protein powder, if I use a protein powder, it has always been this Form one. This has been a long-standing favorite of mine, which I have repeatedly bought. Form recently sent me an extra packet because they saw how much I liked it. This one's nearly finished, so it's just come in good time. But yeah, I'll usually add like a little bit of protein powder into my oats as well, and then I'll have the Greek yogurt, which has also got extra protein. I love the unsweetened ones just because I'm a bit sensitive to overly sweet things, but they also sent me some of their other flavors to try, which I will give a go, maybe in some smoothies. But for now, yeah, this unflavored one does it for me. I have the tiniest drop of coconut milk. I love coconut milk. Just adding a little bit at the end, just because it makes it super creamy. Sometimes I'll add 100% coconut milk, but today it's a mix of almond and coconut. Favorite part of my morning when I'm having porridge is choosing the toppings, obviously. This honey that I picked up recently is so delicious. It's from a shop in Hackney called Food for All on Casenough Road, if anyone is wondering. I'm also still in my hemp seed phase, so hemp seeds are just a must. And then along with that, I've got some bee pollen from Raw Pot, which is just the best of the best. I've also got a variety of berries, so strawberries, blueberries, and some raspberries. I placed on top some Greek yogurt, all of those berries, a little touch of that honey, some hemp seeds, plus that blend of pumpkin and flax seeds, which I spoke about earlier, finishing with some bee pollen. There is no holding back when it comes to the toppings. This is my favorite part. Yum. I'm thinking, what am I gonna cook up for my breakfast slash brunch? Today, I did some hot yoga this morning, which always takes it out of me, but it makes me feel really good at the same time. And I did some weights, but after I eat, I know I'll be feeling more energized. I was in St. Lucia a few weeks ago, and my dad randomly made this. It was so good. It was like this tuna fish frittata, which if you're not a tuna person, you'll probably be like, no way. I'm just gonna try off the top of my head, do what I think he did, but I have no idea if it's gonna work out or turn out the same way, because that was a good frittata. But it's basically just tuna, onions. I think he threw garlic in there, which I'm probably not gonna do, but I'm just gonna do tuna, onions, and eggs. I was also thinking cherry tomatoes would work really well cooked within the frittata type thing that I'm about to cook, but I think I'm in a uncooked, keep it fresh cherry tomato type of mood, but we'll see. Let's go with the flow, let's see how it turns out. Let's do this. So grabbing a red onion, if you don't have a red onion, of course, a white onion is going to work just fine. Even if you want to use spring onions, that will be perfect too. So I'm going to use a little bit of olive oil. I actually might throw a little bit of butter in there as well. Just a combination of both. I'm using a little bit of ground black pepper. Place a little salt. So I'm going to add a little bit of oregano in there as well. So this is my dandelion and tulsi tea. It's probably been sitting, oh God, this teapot's not that great, is it? So whilst those onions are cooking down nice and slow, I'm just gonna crack my eggs into a bowl, give them a bit of salt, and then throw this thing together and it'll be done in no time. I don't think I'm gonna put those tomatoes in. I think I'm gonna put the tomatoes on top. So I cracked my eggs into a bowl. Use as many eggs as you desire. I used 3 eggs for this, and then I opened my tin of tuna. So once your onions have cooked down and they have softened, you can place in that tuna. Got a little bit of green seasoning that I'm going to add in. If you want to add any kind of hot sauce, chili sauce that you like, you can do that. I'm just going to add a touch of green seasoning. So combine the tuna and the onions before placing in those whisked eggs. So I'm going to put it in the oven at about 100 and, oh my God, let me turn this up actually. A bit too low. About 180 degrees. I'm gonna leave it in there for about 10 minutes, maybe 12 minutes. We'll see. I'll keep an eye on it. have some fresh tomatoes, and I've also got some rocket, I think, in the fridge as well. But this is gonna be delicious. This looks completely different to the one that my dad made. So I actually need to get a full breakdown of that recipe properly, I think. But I know this is gonna be delicious either way. You know what, I put salmon in a frittata, but I had never put tuna, and it's just, this is one that you're gonna make again and again once you try it. I only plated 3 pieces, but I'm gonna grab that last one. More fresh tomatoes. I love, you know when you're eating a meal midway through and you're like, oh, you just top up your plate. Let me put a bit of balsamic as well. Ooh, yes, please, thank you. I had a breakfast this morning. I just wasn't able to film it because I was in such a hurry to rush out the door. It was really early, but I had a really filling smoothie, so I'm not so hungry. I had an oat and raspberry smoothie. I used that same protein powder. It was really delicious. It was also very, very filling as well. So I'm not the hungriest, but I do feel like lots and lots of steamed greens this morning. So I'm gonna steam some broccoli. If I want a really nourishing breakfast, something that's gonna make me feel good, that's super simple, this is the perfect example. Lots of steamed greens with salt and a good olive oil, a protein that feels good for me, which is usually eggs, and maybe a few other things on the side. I've got an avocado, so I'm definitely gonna add some avocado onto my plate. And I've got these like Piadinas, these little flatbreads, which are delicious. I'll probably warm some of those up. I just said that smoothie was filling. Now I'm talking about like a whole 5-course breakfast, but if you know me, you know I can eat. I also wanted to share with you what I've been using over the past few months. These are Element electrolytes. I had about 5 boxes of these, and I'm down to, this is the last box, which is just filled with all the random flavors. So if you're someone who feels really low energy after you train, obviously that could be for so many reasons, but it would be worth just seeing if it's a case of you're not replenishing the electrolytes that are lost just through sweating. These are my favorites. So every time I go to the gym and I know I'm going to sweat a lot, I do a whole 1 liter flask of water, and I just add a whole sachet in and just sip on it. It's the best. So yeah, anyways, let's put together today's official breakfast. A little stacking of the dishwasher, a little tidying up before I get going, tidying up this morning's smoothie making mess. So I fancied a little peppermint tea. You know, herbal tea bags are never strong enough, so of course I doubled up and I grabbed those steaming trays. I said it before, I'll say it again, steaming trays are probably my most loved possession in my kitchen. They get the most use. I love them, couldn't be without them. So yeah, put my broccoli to steam, and I chopped up some cherry tomatoes. I combined them with some basil, some olive oil, some oregano, and a little bit of salt. You know what, I cooked that plantain, I cooked half the plantain, I've had it all. So I'm gonna fry the other half. I still like my broccoli with a little bit of a bite, you know? I don't want it overly cooked. I want it cooked, but not overly cooked. Placed on some salt and this gorgeous olive oil that I'm using today. Very generous amount. So whilst my pan was heating to cook my scrambled eggs up, I just chopped up some avocado. The last thing to do was to cook these scrambled eggs. So what I do is I heat my pan on like a medium heat, and then once I put the eggs in, I turn the heat off completely. The eggs are still going to cook, but they're just not gonna dry out. They're not gonna go dry. Just stirred for maybe like 30 seconds or so until I reach my desired type of scrambled eggs. Obviously, if you wanna cook them for a bit longer, you can, and then just serve them up. So just so you know, these are the Piadinas that I used. You can find these, I think you can find the big ones in Sainsbury's, but the mini ones you need to check Waitrose out. I think they're the only supermarket that I've ever seen the mini ones, so they are really, really delicious. You know what, there's just something about having cooked vegetables in the morning, cooked greens specifically. Tell me that adding a bowl of steamed greens to your life for 7 days won't change how you feel. The combo never gets old. Eggs, plantain, avocado. I chopped up some cherry tomatoes with some torn basil, add a little bit of dried oregano, olive oil, and a little Piadina. Perfect. So it's a Friday and I want a super speedy, easy, quick, tasty brunch. So I'm gonna put together just butter beans with cherry tomatoes and garlic. Sounds basic, simple, and it is basic and simple, but sometimes basic and simple works well. If you have a good tasting bean, makes all the difference. I've got a bit of bread. I tried out this sourdough a couple of weeks ago. It's, let me show you. It's called Jason's sourdough. So this is the seeded one. They also have a white sourdough, but I haven't tried out that one, but it's really tasty. just remembered I've also got my favorite. I've got some cottage cheese. I'll just spread that on the toast, and then I will put those cherry tomato butter beans, garlicky cherry tomato butter beans over it. So starting off, we will just halve our cherry tomatoes. You can use any type of tomatoes that you have, by the way. And also, if you're using cherry tomatoes and you'd rather just keep them whole and throw them in the pan as they are, that's also fine. So I grabbed my pan, just heating it on a low to medium heat. Whilst that was heating up, I just finally chopped up my garlic, swirling a little bit of olive oil into the pan. I threw in all of that chopped garlic on a very, very low heat. Really important that you don't burn your garlic. You just really want to cook it gently for a few minutes. Shortly after, you can place in your chopped cherry tomatoes, just giving everything a good stir, seasoned with some salt and some pepper. If you want to, like I did, you can add in a little bit of dried oregano and just continue stirring, continue moving everything in the pan. As those cherry tomatoes break down and just become infused in that garlicky olive oil, just gets so delicious. You can go ahead and open up either your jar of butter beans or your carton or your tin of butter beans. So yeah, I just gave my butter beans a good rinse before throwing them in the pan along with those cherry tomatoes. So combining those butter beans and those cherry tomatoes, you can place in a little bit more black pepper if you want to, and just let those butter beans and cherry tomatoes just do their thing on a low heat. Just let them cook for around 5 minutes. For a little extra touch, I'm going to stir a little bit of red pesto in that I had in my fridge, which actually needs using. So ratio of cherry tomatoes and butter beans was a little bit unequal. Usually I prefer a few more cherry tomatoes in something like this. So that's why I looked in the fridge and I found red pesto and just thought, yeah, this will be the perfect addition. So yeah, just last little bits, I just needed to toast up my toast and put those butter beans on the toast. So this is the Riverford cottage cheese, and for me it's probably the best tasting cottage cheese that's out there if you're in the UK. Excited! Finish with a little bit of basil. Simple but effective and delicious. Let's have a taste. You've been seeing my concentration food face, my food concentration face all week. That sun-dried tomato, no, it's actually a red pepper pesto, but that red pesto definitely works. Oh my God, this is so damn good. Let me know in the comments which one you'll be making. You might be making 2, you might make 3, you might make all of them. Let me know. I really hope these ideas have just given you that little push that we all need sometimes. It's fine. Just to step into your kitchen, get to cooking, create a beautiful meal for yourself because you deserve it. I will see you all in my next video very, very soon. I'm gonna go sit down and enjoy this. I wanna sit down in peace and enjoy this meal. See you all soon.